I live in a very interesting place. I live out on in between some farms, and one side of the road is organic. The other side of the road is not organic. But it got me thinking. I was like, so what? Everyone has this ordeal about glyphosates, right? I don't like glyphosates. I hate glyphosates. I don't like the use of them. I don't think that we should be using them. I don't think that they're even necessary for the farming industry. But there are a lot of farmers that will beg to differ, and they're very religious about this, and will tell you that you absolutely need glyphosates to farm, or you will not be able to efficiently farm, and you won't be able to have an operation. Maybe financially, that might be right about what they're talking about. But as far as economically, we don't need glyphosates. If we did it the correct way, if we did it the organic way, we would still have enough produce. That one farmer wouldn't produce as much as he normally produces, but that's because he's using all these scientific tools like GMO ready seeds for glyphosate ready genetics. So like as soon as they spray it, the plants aren't going to die from all the glyphosates. Like Roundup ready, Monsanto seeds give the farmers seeds that are Roundup ready. But it's like we don't need all these glyphosates for farming, because it's going to cost us a little more work, but guess what? That produces more jobs for more people to do. And not everyone can be like the big huge farmer with a bunch of glyphosates, because that's what all the farmers are doing. They're all coming together and they're all spraying their fields with glyphosates. Not saying all of them, but we're getting some organic back. Like I said, I live on a street where they do organic farming, and the organic farmer doesn't like what the other guy's doing because he's spraying glyphosates and he's doing stuff like soybeans and stuff like that, while the organic farmer is trying to farm things like with a better process, with more natural, more organic compounds and things. The organic system isn't perfect, and I'm gonna hit on that real quick, because they do use like sprays and stuff, but they're not glyphosate based. They're different alternative things that they use to take care of their crops and everything, which is an improvement. It's better than conventional farming, but conventional farming has all these chemicals and pesticides, and they trigger fluctuation with our hormones in our body, and that's why a lot of us are having like mental issues and stomach issues, just all types, all around bad health. And that happens as a byproduct of these chemicals. They mess with our hormones and everything. But I was like, there's this big huge debate and we all talk about it, but here's the thing, okay guys, stick with me. Here's the thing. How are the farmers going to argue that glyphosates are 100% necessary, that you absolutely have to have glyphosates for farming, when we throw away too much produce in America? We have so much middle class out there that want that produce, that could use that produce, that need that produce, that are hungry, that are starving out there. And these grocery stores will throw it away just for a tax write-off. They won't give it away because they got to throw it away, because they have to account for all this trash that they're accumulating, and they don't want to lose profit. So they write it off at the end of the year to get their money back, which is more important for them than them to donate it to somebody else that would be able to help them. And a lot of this produce that we make in America isn't being sold or ate because it just doesn't look good enough. It's not good enough to put on the shelf. So a lot of this produce gets thrown away because no one wants to sell the produce, when plenty of people would be willing to buy that produce. And even if you sold it at a lower rate, that would be even better. And we're having less waste. Like, people could be we could be distributing this produce, and people could be using it, and it makes people healthier and all around. And instead of people eating so much junk food all the time, if we just donated free vegetables, how much more would people be eating vegetables than junk food? And how much cheaper would our produce actually be if we stopped throwing it all away? That's the thing. We throw away so much produce, and so many people could be using it. But yet the farmers, I full circle back to the farmers trying to say that they absolutely need to have these glyphosates to farm, and it's just not true, guys. It's not true. The farmers don't need all these chemicals to do it. How have we been doing it for the rest of eternity from the beginning? We've been putting the seeds in the ground. We've come up with extra ways like making fertilizer, like all natural fertilizer. It's really not that hard. And then some good old elbow grease. Some elbow grease onto it. Get you a little shovel. Get you a little hand shovel or a big shovel, whatnot, and weed around it. You can also plant certain plants that will deteriorate other insects. And a lot of farmers don't want to do that process. But you can incorporate a whole ecosystem that will take care of your whole crop. You can incorporate bees. You can incorporate different types of insects. So you can release like praying mantises. You can take ladybugs and release those into your crop. And that is a more all-natural way. Or introduce dragonflies. Have like an environment for dragonflies where you grow like plantain around the crop, because plantain has those long stems that grow upwards, and then it gives the dragonflies a place to be able to sit and stand, and in turn you'll have like a bunch of hunters, and dragonflies have like a 95% kill rate. They're the apex predator. They're one of the best predators in the whole entire ecosystem. They're awesome. They're so cool. But you can use all of these tools to your advantage when you're farming. That's what I want to do, guys. I want to be able to full scale do a huge organic farm to make real organic produce and show the world it's possible to do this, because it's absolutely possible. There's so many tools that God has given us that we can utilize to make an organic all-around system, especially for like mega farming. But we don't use those tools enough. We don't take advantage of it. We take our heads and we start spinning the wheel, like we're trying to recreate the wheel when we're making all these artificial chemicals. It's like big pharma. Okay, I'm not gonna get into big pharma, but it's like trying to take the natural, the herbs and everything, and trying to make like a synthetic man-made version of it, when you're just isolating it into a stronger, more potent version of it. And that's not going to have the full spectrum of everything that you need out of that one plant. Like, let's say, you want to extract nicotine out of tomatoes. Yeah, it's possible, but the nicotine, they're just trying to get a pure nicotine out of the tomato, and you're not going to get the full experience of the tomato. You're just going to get the nicotine. And then they make it into a man-made product that is more synthetic, and it's just the absolute of nicotine, and it does what nicotine does, but you don't get the rest of all the chemicals that came with the whole plant. Like, that's what we're doing with chemicals. With chemicals, we're concentrating it down to a one chemical that we think is going to be the strongest, most potent against the one insect we're trying to like get away from, whatever it is in your farming industry. But that's not how nature works altogether. You need to take the compounds of all of it and incorporate all of them into your system. That's why bees go and pollinate several different flowers instead of just one flower. And then you get like a different type of honey every time. You can get clover honey, you can get all different types of honey, hibiscus honey, whatever. And bees will take from their environment, and it all makes honey, but they're all different honeys, and they're all going to have different medicinal effects and everything. So it's like it all incorporates. You have to use the natural with the natural, not the synthetic with the natural. It's like taking a bunch of chickens, putting them in a barn, and they're not able to see the sunlight, and then no wonder you're going to get crappy chicken, because one, they don't have the sunlight that they need, and they're not getting the diet that they need, which is bugs and berries and all types of stuff. I had Jersey Giants, and they loved eating blackberries. Their mouths were like covered in black, and it was so awesome. It was so cool. They loved the blackberries, and the eggs were so good. They were like super yellow. Like, I've never seen eggs this yellow before when I had the Jersey Giants, and they just ate like mantises outside, and they ate bugs, and they were wild range. Like they weren't even like, they're more than free range. They're more than pasture raised, because they're out in the woods. And they took care of themselves pretty well. But the guinea hens also helped them. Like I said, full circle. You use all these tools together and you can get away with so many cool natural stuff. But these eggs were out of this world. I never had eggs like this before. I've been to farm stands and I've had local eggs before, and they're pretty yellow, but not like these ones. These chickens were like eating wild blackberries because their mouths and beaks were all like black and everything. And their eggs were just so yellow, but they would eat bugs out in the wild. They're out in the woods and everything. They had like a pond to be able to hang out around, and the guinea hens would follow them and hang out with them, and they were always so loud and no one wanted to be around the guinea hens. But the chickens, you know, they all stuck together, the chickens and the guinea hens. So it was like a really cool really cool pack. Like they did good. And then my dog, you know, would bark, so no one would want to mess with the birds. So it's like full circle. You know, the more tools you add to your system, the better your system gets. It really works like that. You introduce more bugs, more flowers, more plants, all of those things, and you start getting a better, more well-rounded ecosystem. But yeah, that's what was on my mind today, guys. Thank you guys for watching the video. This is the daily vlog video. So Rice the Alchemist coming to you live. Thank you guys so much for checking me out. If you guys haven't checked out my bio, you guys can connect with me on Discord. Check out my Etsy shop and all the other links that I have on there. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing and checking me out. I will see you guys on the next video. I love you. See you guys later. Bye.